today from Siem Reap, Cambodia. My name is Sarah, and today I'm going to be showing you a little bit about my life living and teaching in Cambodia. I am originally from St. Louis, Missouri, but I've lived in South Florida for the last 14 years. My husband and I moved to Cambodia about 2.5 months ago, and I started teaching about 2 weeks after we got here. So we found our apartment through a realtor that I met before moving here on a Facebook group for expats living in Cambodia. He sent us a few places before we moved, and then when we got here we looked at probably 5 or 6 different places before we settled on this apartment. So we live in what's considered a Western style apartment. So you have the Western or the local Khmer style homes here. The difference is the Western apartments have an indoor fully functioning kitchen, and we also have a shower that is sort of separated from the rest of the bathroom, whereas the Khmer houses have an outdoor kitchen and sort of just a hose right next to the toilet for a shower. So we pay a little bit extra to live in a Western apartment. We also have the pool, we do have a small gym, and we have the 24-hour manned entrance. Really, you can find a place here starting at about $100 for a studio or 1-bedroom apartment. You can definitely go cheaper than that, but it really just depends on your personal preference and the amenities that you want to have in your place. So it was really easy to find an apartment here. Again, the realtors, if you start searching on Facebook, on any of the online platforms, they will reach out to you. It's free to use, and it was a super easy process. I go to a school called IQ International School of Siem Reap. It is an international school, however, we really only have a handful of international students. It's mainly local Khmer students. I teach nursery level, so I teach ages 2 to 3, which at first I was pretty nervous about. I had never worked with small children before, but I really love it, and we have a lot of fun in class. Hide your eyes, oh no! But you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're scared and you know it, hide your eyes, oh no! So I actually got really lucky with how I stumbled across this job. While I was taking the online course, a fellow teacher and alumni from the school I now work at reached out to me and was possibly going to be needing a substitute right around the time I was arriving. And long story short, the sub position didn't end up working out, but they needed a nursery teacher, so that's kind of how I got my foot in the door, which is really good because here in Cambodia, typically you arrive first and you go to the schools directly with your resume and you interview in that way. So the fact that I kind of already had something set up before I got here was really beneficial. So the interview process for me was actually pretty laid back because I had already built an online relationship with the teacher that was going to be interviewing me. So the day of my interview, I went in and I actually was able to observe a class before the interview. Then we sat down and they asked me some questions about my certification, but it was mainly getting to know me and my personality and seeing if I was a good fit to work with young kids.
My classroom, you can see we have some arts and crafts, our little play area, a TV. We do a lot of dancing and singing. We do morning drills. We do the alphabet, months of the year, numbers, days of the week, shapes, a little reading area for the students, and there you have it.
So right now I'm standing in front of the Old Market, which is in the heart of the city. Right to my right is the canal that runs through the middle of the city, and to my left a little ways is the famous Pub Street. But here at the market you can buy all kinds of goods, souvenirs, clothes, household items, groceries, things like fruit, vegetables, meat if you're very daring. So I've had a lot of questions regarding my salary and if I make enough to live comfortably, travel, save, and the answer is yes. So there's two scenarios I'm going to give you, mine and the typical expat that comes here. So mine is I'm married. My husband also makes an income. We also paid our rent up front when we moved here. So usually we use the money that I make monthly, which is 500 USD for working part-time, for groceries, going out, whatever we want to do. And we're actually able to save most of what he makes. For the typical expat, they either work part-time, which is average 500 a month, and then they supplement with online teaching, or they work full-time, which is about $1,000 a month. So if you're making $1,000 a month, again, you could live in somewhere that's cheaper than ours, so you're gonna average between $4 to $550 a month left over to save, travel, do whatever you want. I've had a lot of people ask this question, and no, we haven't lived in any other countries in Southeast Asia, but we did take a trip to Vietnam and Thailand last year, and we just fell in love with the culture, the people, the food, and a different way of life. We chose Cambodia specifically for a few reasons. One, we'd never been here before, and we wanted to go somewhere and immerse ourselves in a new culture that was completely different from what we've grown up with. Another reason is it is right in the center of Southeast Asia, so it's really easy to travel to other countries. We just got back 2 days ago from Malaysia. It was a 2-hour flight, $130 round trip. Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, all these countries are very close by, and it's relatively quick, easy, and cheap to get there. So that was a big factor. Another reason is here in Cambodia, you do not need a college degree, which I do not have. And they also have a really higher need than some of the other more popular countries like Thailand and Vietnam. So I was really drawn to that. So that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed my story and you learned a lot about living and teaching in Cambodia. If you have any other questions or want to know more about teaching or living or any other things. It was not long ago I was in your shoes and finishing up my TEFL certification and overwhelmed by the thought of moving. So feel free to reach out on Instagram. You can check out my highlights if you want to know more about Siem Reap or teaching. Look under Teacher Sarah. I post a lot of videos of activities and the lessons that we do in class. So take care, and I will see you all soon. Bye.